Hey! What up, geeks? Steph here. If you noticed, there was no Geek for the Week episode on Tuesday because of my inability to step away from binge watching Daredevil Season 2 on my couch in my PJs. When is the last time I showered? It also took me until Monday to even get my hands on Daredevil because I spent my entire weekend in Chicago at C2E2. And if you check out our cosplay music video, you can see how much of a blast it was. I got to meet some of you guys there and it was so awesome to see you guys out of your parents' basements. I'm really proud of you. In all honesty, thanks to everyone who said hi and all the great and wonderful things you guys always have to say. It really means a lot to us. But enough sappy shit, let's get to Daredevil. Daredevil Season 2 had a lot of really great things to offer, and also some not so great things. Actually, I think everything it had to offer was spectacular, but the way some of it was delivered probably could have been handled a little bit better. What I mean by that is we got two awesome new characters, the Punisher and Elektra. If you're familiar with them at all, you know that they're both super cool characters, and seeing both of them on screen with Daredevil and friends was a blast to watch. But I have to say, it seems like the writers all had different opposing ideas for what they wanted Season 2 to be, and instead of just picking one, they decided to mush them all together. You want the Punisher? You got the Punisher! You want Elektra? You got Elektra! You want ninjas? You got ninjas! Yes, ninjas. But the reality is, the Punisher is the true MVP here. I probably would have liked Elektra a whole lot more if she was in her own separate season, or basically anything other than a season with the Punisher. He's just way too awesome for there to be anyone else to worry about. His badassery overshadows pretty much everything, and by the end I was actually digging his story more than Daredevil's himself, which makes me wonder, spin-off series? Frank Castle's story arc is so heart-wrenching, so intense, so twisted and amazing that it totally overpowers me having any interest in Elektra whatsoever. Which is unfortunate because her story is pretty damn cool. The two stories just didn't really mesh and there was no real purpose for them to be told at the same time. They never really confronted each other and having one over the other really didn't make any impact on the overall story. Maybe it's supposed to be some sort of metaphor for Matt Murdock balancing his life of love and romance and friendships against the reality of Daredevil's fate and responsibility to protect Hell's Kitchen from the Punisher and other threats. And maybe the overwhelming weight of it all is supposed to be intentional and is intended to feel excessive, but I could just be grasping at straws here. As far as Daredevil goes, he almost didn't feel like the front runner here. Season 1 was all about Daredevil, but Season 2 is all about Matt Murdock getting his ass kicked and the Punisher being badass. I mean, I can't say I can complain. That being said, with the Punisher's badassery, the action in this season is so good! It is unbelievably hardcore. I mean, if you thought the action in Season 1 was great, you are in for a treat, my friend. It's mostly the Punisher inflicting that badass beat-em-up action, but Daredevil still does have his moments as well. There's one scene that kind of tries to mirror that really awesome badass fight scene in Season 1 that's like down a hallway and it's a really long take and it's so good. It's basically 5 minutes of sheer badassery. I wonder how many times I'll say badass in this episode. Badassery, badass, badassery, badass, badass, badassery. The only difficulty I have with this season is that while it does have some extremely amazing episodes, those not so amazing episodes tended to fall flat. For the first 4 or so episodes, I was in it. I was so in it. But then things kind of slowed down and I felt myself being dragged on for a bit. However, as soon as I did get kind of tired of the slowness, something really badass would happen and it would wake me up again. And then I was just right back in it. And I think part of that has to do with the ebb and flow of the Elektra story versus the Punisher story, which are also happening alongside the Daredevil story, the Matt Murdock story, the Nelson and Murdock Scooby Gang story, and the ever-growing tension between all of those things. It's kind of a stressful season. In a good way. I mostly just think the constant back and forth between Punisher and Elektra got kind of jarring, and it was almost too jarring to keep me addicted at points. It is definitely less binge-worthy than Season 1, in my opinion, and I also think the lack of a super cool villain kind of prevents me from saying it's better than Season 1, because I just loved Fisk so much. Bring back Fisk. I love Fisk. And while yes, the Punisher is beyond badass, I am not saying Fisk is better than the Punisher. The Punisher is just all hail the Punisher. But he's not really a villain, he's more of an anti-hero. And it's the same deal with Elektra, she's an anti-hero. And even less of a villain because of her somewhat alliance with Daredevil and their constant vigilante canoodling, if you catch my drift. The Hand wasn't much of a villain aside from the fact that ninjas are pretty cool. So I mean, yeah, there's no Fisk equivalent, but like they're fighting ninjas, so I can't complain, really. And like I said, the Punisher is the true MVP of season 2. Anything Frank Castle does is just guaranteed to be colossally badass. And not to mention, gory as fuck. Jon Bernthal's performance was so hardcore and so intense and so mind-blowingly awesome. He embodied Frank Castle in a way I've never seen. He completely captured that damage beyond repair, broken and deranged man driven by vengeance, who didn't think twice about violently blowing someone's face into little tiny pieces. And seeing his ideologies clash with Daredevil's on screen was incredibly cool and kind of hilarious to see Daredevil like, no, you can't kill people, and Punisher being like, I don't really give a shit. He seriously just not a single shit to give. But maybe I just have a morbid sense of humor. I also just really need to mention Karen. I love Karen. You all know my weakness is girl power, but Karen is just the embodiment of girl power. And she's not even a superhero. I just love seeing strong female characters on TV, okay? I can't get enough of it. At one point, I was seriously like, she is the only character in this show making a lick of sense. The boys are fighting with their panties in a bunch, too stubborn to man up and be adults, and Karen's just like, I'm too boss for your bullshit. I'm gonna go hang out with the Punisher because I ain't afraid of nothing. You go, Karen. You're the real MVP here. Plus, she really just gets shit on a lot in season 2, and the whole time she's just like, it's cool. She still holds up stronger than pretty much anyone else. So yeah, Team Karen! That being said, I really do want to say that season 2 is better than season 1 because some episodes were just so damn awesome. So awesome that I couldn't even handle it. And the character development was just damn. But as a whole, the season didn't really come together in the best way, and while it had spectacular moments and story arcs and performances, the stitching was a little hairy and it just wasn't that nice, finely wrapped package that season 1 was. But that's my review. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree. If you watched the whole season, let me know what you thought in the comments, and I will see you guys tomorrow with my review of Batman vs Superman. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Head on over to aggressivecomics.com for the latest and greatest in geeky news, and definitely be sure to check out our Patreon if you are interested in supporting this channel and helping us to become even more awesome, if that's even possible. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.